I'm Sarah Henson, and you are watching The Potter's Touch. This next message is going to change how you deal with the storms of life. You will no longer go through things being stressed and upset, angry and aggravated. I promise you, get your pen, get your paper, sit down, enjoy this message. God has a word for you.
Look at this agricultural metaphor through which God releases a principle regarding kingdoms. In Genesis 8, I think 28, you will find that all the way back to the book of Genesis, God says, while the earth remaineth, there will always be seed time and harvest. There will always be cycles and systems. The kingdom will always operate in a secular fashion through cycles. What goes around, what goes up, it will always work like that. What a man soweth, that's why when you reap it, you're foolish not to enjoy it. Because if you sowed it and you worked for it and you earned it, stop apologizing for your harvest. After you've been plowing while other folk were watching football game, don't feel bad when you get your harvest. Drive it, wear it, live in it, put it on your finger, wrap your head up in it. Oh, something's going to happen in here this morning. Oh, something's going to happen in here this morning. I feel it in my spirit. Kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man who sowed good seed in his field. He sowed it into his field and then says to his servants, watch out for this. Be a steward over stuff that's not yours. Did you get that? Be a steward over stuff that's not yours. I'll cause you to walk into a favor where you have no labor. Be a steward over stuff. I'm prophesying. Is anybody getting it? Be a steward over stuff that's not yours. No, I didn't give you the field, but I exposed you to stuff you didn't own. You didn't have to pay taxes on it. You didn't have to deal with the problems in it. But I'm going to bring you into a system that already exists, and all you got to do is watch. What favor that you've been brought into a system that preceded you. I always took issue with these men because I blamed them for how badly this story turns out. I blame them. It's through them that the butt comes in. It's going to be a rough one this morning. It says, but while men slept, the enemy came. I was angry at these men because I thought to myself, if you hadn't have fallen asleep, none of this mess would have happened. I was angry at this man because they only had one responsibility, was to just watch over the seed. They didn't have to produce it. They didn't have to cultivate it. All they had to do was watch over the seed. I mean, even a scarecrow would have been able to do this job. How did they mess up this job? Have you ever got in a mess and said, how did I get in? I had a problem with these men. I had a problem with it. They slept. I can't stand lazy people. It's just personal. This is me. This is not the Bible. It's two things I can't take. It's a lazy man and a stinking woman. That's just me. That ain't the Bible. That's just me. That's just two things I can't take. I give a brother permission to be stinky if he been working. If you work hard, you're supposed to come home sweaty. I can't stand a lazy. So I had a problem with them. I was angry because they were sleeping. And when I preached this in my youth, I attacked these men for sleeping on the job. That's how the devil got you, because you were asleep on the job. That's how he got in your house, because you were asleep on the job. That's how he messed up your business, because you were asleep on the job. I was upset with them because they were asleep, never noticing that these men were so formidable that the enemy was afraid to confront them awake. That the enemy knew had he come while these men were awake, they would have beat him off the field. Have you ever had to fight a devil that wouldn't face you head on, but he waits? Yeah, I feel my preacher coming. He catch you vulnerable and catch you tired and catch you frustrated and catch you at your wits' end. He don't catch you when you're shouting and anointed and standing in the fervence of the Spirit, but he waits till your back's up against the wall. This jelly-back devil didn't have the courage to face off head on with a true servant of God, but he waits till they're asleep and he creeps in like a little sissy, tipping around trying to take over somebody's stuff. Little wimp. While men slept, I never noticed that they were strong awake. Number two, I never noticed that it is no sin to be tired. You cannot stay awake 24 hours. Sooner or later, the body was designed to go to sleep. The body refuels itself in sleep. The body refurbishes itself in sleep. The body heals itself in sleep. The body revitalizes itself in sleep. Your body functions better and more perfectly when you're asleep than it does when you are awake, because when you are awake, you are working it, and when you are asleep, it's building back its resources, getting ready for the next attack. If you don't sleep, you can't think. If you don't sleep, you can't function. If you don't sleep, you can't digest your food. If you don't sleep, you won't be alert. You can't think your best thought if you don't go to bed. I want to apologize publicly to these men. I was wrong about you. It is okay to be tired. We used to have a saying in the country, if I'd have known you was coming, I'd have baked you a cake. It means if I would have expected this, I'd have been ready for you when you got here. It's not really talking about cakes and icings and stuff. But it says if I would have known you was coming, I'd have baked you. Have you ever had something hit you that if you would have had any idea that a girl like you would have to go through a thing like that, you would have been ready? If you'd have had any idea that a good man with a good seed could go through a bad time and you woke up and all hell had broken loose. They woke up shocked. Have you ever said, what? You see, they didn't know it when they first woke up. The time that they found out that something had been done in the sleep was when that was sowed began to grow. In the embryonic stages of the development of the dream that had been planted in the soil, we are not sure what kind of soil it is in. Footnote, the seed is declared in this text to be good, not the soil. The seed in the soil is so good that the acidity of the soil is irrelevant. Because there are some things that are so good that you can put them in bad ground and they can still do well. So this is one of the few mentions that you will see in the text where we have a good seed placed in a nebulous soil. Non-conclusive, not mentioned, not affirmed, doesn't matter. Some stuff is so good, it could work anywhere. Like Jesus. Jesus is described as a root springing up out of dry ground. You know your stuff is good when you can work against the soil you came from. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. You know your stuff is good is when you are at risk and still succeed. You know your stuff is good when you can be surrounded by witches and still accomplish your purpose. You know your stuff is good when nobody helped you, everybody lied on you, they tried to pull you down, but you still... See, some of y'all got to where you got in life because your conditions were right and the environment was right and you had the right family and you grew up in the right community and you had the right friends and you went to the right school and you had the right habits. Well, it ain't no testimony that you made it. Your surroundings made you. But some of us came up from dysfunctional families, bad communities, didn't have no money, defied all the odds, and we are still here. Slap your neighbor and say, I made it anyway. The odds were against me, but I made it anyway. I had to work 2 jobs, but I made it anyway. I had to encourage myself, but I made it anyway. I got so tired I couldn't put one foot in front of another, but I made it.
Still to come on The Potter's Touch.
You got to lose your job and get up. You got to go through divorce and get up. You got to go through sickness and get up. You got to do it with your lights on, lights off. Got money? No money. Got friends? No friends. People like you, people hate you. Though he slay me, yet shall I trust him. Look at me, devil. I'm still here. Tenacity. Tough. Reckless, radical. I wish I had some tenacious folk in this place right now.
Bishop T.D. Jakes is tackling those very issues that relate to unforgiveness in his new book, Let It Go.
Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. When I forgive you,